Influencers share a lot of their lives with their fans, and since most of their fans seem like family, they even open up about scary moments that happen in their lives, like medical conditions they've had that impacted their entire lives, or scary life-saving surgeries that were never anticipated. Hey, what's up everyone, it's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel I'm going to be filling you in on the top 5 influencers that had a medical scare. And I know there are probably way more than I'm forgetting about, so if you have any that you think I can put in a part 2, please let me know below in the comments. Also make sure to like and subscribe below for more and check out our playlist of other top 5s just like this one. Alright, now let's get into it. Starting off at number 5, Alex Griswold. Say what you want about TikTok, but the app actually ended up saving someone's life, if you can believe it. A 24-year-old user named Alex Griswold posted a lighthearted TikTok skit saying that when you're married, back scratching sessions always turn into pimple popping sessions, where he showed his back on camera. Then in a follow-up TikTok, he said that after he posted that video, he had 2 people DM him saying that there was a mole on his back that looked like skin cancer. So he said he went to a dermatologist, and since they thought it might be skin cancer too, they ended up removing it and also took out a decent chunk of his back to be safe. Then after they tested that mole, they realized it was actually skin cancer and that those strangers probably saved his life. According to Griswold, doctors told him that the growth was a moderate atypical mole, continuing to change and heading towards melanoma. And there's still a chance that the growth could come back, but his followers definitely bought him a lot of time. NBC reports that one of the 2 TikTok users who contacted Griswold was 23-year-old Lizzie Wells, who had her own melanoma scare and is currently training to be a neurosurgeon, saying that since most people don't look at their backs, they would never notice something like that. Adding, quote, imagine if he hadn't created the TikTok about pimple popping. And seriously, like, I never look at my back, and since my back can be kind of hard to reach, like I personally don't always even put sunscreen on it. So now I'm kind of nervous about my back, like maybe I should make a TikTok on it and see what people say. Cause seriously, like I can't reach like that area, like that one area never gets sunscreen, you know, it's just not possible. In at number 4, Alexandra's girly talk. Tons of influencers have come out over the years talking about their scary experience with breast implants and the harm they believe that it did to their bodies, which led to them getting removed. Just to name a few of the influencers who have had their implants removed, there's Alexandra's girly talk, Simply Nessa, and Natalie's Outlet. To speak on one specific story, Alexandra said that she got her breast implants when she was 18, and she was unhappy with the size and shape of her breasts, then saying that she got the implants and right after they were really high, but when they dropped, the lift also fell too, and the weight of her breasts were so much that she had the same shape, but now they were just very heavy. Then about a year after she put the implants in, one of them went rock hard overnight and sort of shot up. Then the other one was starting to sag because of the weight of the implant. So they looked really deformed and it was really uncomfortable. She said she tried to hide it for a few weeks, then later realized it was a very common complication and it happened because the body was rejecting the implant. She said she didn't do anything for about a year because she was so nervous about the cost of fixing it, but later ended up going to the doctor when it didn't go away and had to get it fixed with surgery. Then she said that around this time is when she noticed all the other symptoms she was having, like brain fog, and her arms would go numb when she would lay down, as well as random heart spasms that would really hurt. Then adding that exercising was not possible and she was unable to take deep breaths while she was exercising, so she had to stop altogether. And then about 3 years after she got the implants, she decided to get another boob job, this time just to make them smaller and change the type of implant that she had, because at this time she was getting used to being tired and short of breath all the time, and she had no idea it was exclusively because of the implants. But only after a few weeks she came across an article from a former Playboy model who was speaking out about why she got her implants removed, and speaking about all the terrible symptoms that Alexandra was feeling. This is when Alexandra decided she needed to get the implants out, but she had just gotten pregnant and knew she had to wait till she had her child to get the implants out. Then when the day came for her explant, she said it was the best day of her life, and only 12 hours after the surgery she already felt better than she had in years. Then adding that she's so happy to have them out and her heart goes out to all the other women out there that are sick and can't get enough money to take them out. In at number 3, AzzyLand. Azzy uploaded a story time on her channel in 2017 called I Almost Died, My Surgery Story. And in the video she gives a detailed look into why she had to have emergency surgery and all the hiccups she encountered along the way. She starts off the video saying that she had a terrible pain in her lower stomach and thought it might be her appendix, so she went to the doctor who quickly told her to go to the emergency room. Then she said she had to wait 5 hours before someone would even look at her, and at this time the pain was getting worse. And the doctors at that time were saying it was either her appendix or something wrong with her ovary. Then after many more hours hours of waiting and tests, they knew it was her appendix and it needed to be taken out ASAP. But she had to wait until the next morning to get the surgery. And at this point, she hadn't eaten or drank much for the whole day because of all the tests and things she was doing. And obviously you can't eat before surgery either. Then the surgery went fine and she was back in her hospital bed. She was incredibly loopy because she was on so many painkillers. But it doesn't end there. They let her go home because she was begging to be in her own bed. When she got home, she started feeling really bad pains in her chest, and she thought she was having a heart attack, with the pain being so bad at points that she would temporarily pass out. After debating whether it was serious or not, Azzy decided to call the hospital, who told her it was normal. And since they pumped gas into her stomach, it was moving around and pressing on her nerves and other areas of her body, which is something they probably should have told her about so she wouldn't freak out. Because after surgery, I think it would make sense to freak out about like any little pain in your body, right? But thankfully she ended up being fine, but her and her boyfriend said it was a week of hell. In at number 2, Gigi Gorgeous. This one actually happened really recently, so I'm giving you guys some fresh tea here. You're welcome. So Gigi just posted her first video on months to her YouTube channel called Where I've Been, My Horrific Surgery. And in the video she talks about all the issues she's had with her veneers, even referencing another video she did where she told a story time about a time she lost a veneer after she was eating. And she was shocked because most people never have them taken out after they're put in the first time. Then in a recent video she says how her teeth have fallen out 4 times already, and each time it makes her more worried for the next time that they might fall out, and if they would ever fall out in a public place or in the middle of something really important. So she ended up going to the dentist, and they said that since veneers literally never fall out, they were pretty sure that something was wrong. And her dentist basically determined that it was something wrong with her bite most likely, and the whole set needed to be fixed. So when she got them all taken off and she was wearing temporary teeth, is when her dentist told her she needed 4 to 6 root canals, which is insane. So they basically just did the root canals, then put the veneers on top to save time, all in one surgery. And now her teeth are fine, but the surgery and recovery were of course brutal. And based off everything she said in the video, everyone in the comments was telling her to get a second opinion on her doctor because a lot of the story seemed kinda sketchy. Then there were other dental professionals in the comments warning people to not get veneers unless you really need them because they can cause a lot of problems. So let me know below if you have veneers. Do you have any issues with them? I would love to know after hearing that story. And finally, number 1, Jeffree Star. Jeffree uploaded a video in 2018 that was a shock to many called My Secret Surgery. In the video, Jeffree opens up about a condition that he's been battling basically his whole life, and it's something that's made the way he chews food completely different from most other people. The esophageal condition he has is very hard to pronounce, but it's called eosinophilic esophagitis, and it's an allergic inflammatory condition that affects the esophagus and involves white blood cells. And it basically makes your esophagus very small, especially when you're stressed out, and food can get caught in the esophagus until it needs to be removed by a doctor. Some other symptoms are difficulty swallowing, vomiting, and food impaction. And there's no cure, but it can be fixed by getting the esophagus dilated anywhere from several times a year to once every few weeks. Jeffree opened up that he was thinking about having the surgery for years, but every time he would seriously consider it, he would duck out at the last minute, saying that the first time he ever had a problem with it was when he was 6 years old, and he was choking on food because he couldn't swallow it. But thankfully, firefighters were there soon enough to save his life. But since then, he's never choked on food. It would just get stuck in his esophagus, and he would have to wait to get it pulled out. But he had a more recent incident with it at a friend's party when eating a hot dog, and he was able to clear it out himself. But after that incident, Jeffree was so scared he made the appointment the very next day, and both him and his assistant Madison, who actually has the same condition, got their esophaguses dilated together. So I guess they got to bond over that surgery. Alright, well that's all for that list. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Let me know who you thought was the worst, and tell me who I missed that could be in a part 2. But as always, before I head out, I'm gonna shout out comments from my suitcase found on Randonautica video. Leslie Smith said, "May they rest in peace. It must be hard on the families of the victims. As for the kids, I hope they're okay. It must have been traumatizing. I can't imagine being in their place." Agreed. I think at first they probably just didn't think it was real or for it to be possible what they were thinking, but I'm sure after all the news came, they were probably really affected. It's really unfortunate. Then King Soretti said, "I think a lot about this because of the fact that after the kids found the suitcase and called the cops, the ocean started to drag the suitcase with it. If it wasn't for them arriving there at the right moment, the bodies would have ended up in the ocean and the killer would have been walking free." Wow, that is a really good point. I guess that adds even more like mystery to the app. Like the app brought them there at that point, at that time. Like, coincidence? Then Kat Horn said, I've been using the Rando app with great success. It almost always takes me to what I ask for. I love it, but yes, I do it alone and always during the daylight for sure. Wow, good for you. I personally believe in manifesting, so I do think it's possible for the app to work, but I also think it's probably really rare for someone to be able to like channel it really effectively, so you obviously must be really good at it, but yeah, that's good to know that there's some positive from it. Alright guys, well that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching if you made it all the way here, and again, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to see when we post, and I'll see you all in the next one.